life, but he's sure to have something in the background that's interesting in his life's work. And he would go to great heights to get images. This is an image of Frank Bickerton at Land's End, near Commonwealth Bay, 1912. Again, silhouette of the man in this ice with a pocket of light, just way more artistic. So you have to think about when these images were brought home, what were they used for? These expeditions were really expensive, and so they had to gain funding from multiple sources in order to afford to go on these excursions. So the photographers, starting with Ponting and Frank Hurley, they knew that their images were going to be used back home to inspire donors to give them money to go again or to pay off debts from this last expedition. So it wasn't just for documenting, it wasn't just for science. It's now a new thing. They have to fund these expeditions, and the images are a powerful tool for that purpose. And everybody loves dogs. So these are the dogs used. Expedition was quite successful. They discovered and mapped huge portions of East Antarctica. They explored many, many kilometers of mainland as well as Macquarie Island. And their scientific research, they collected a lot of data, they established bases, a lot of data and scientific contributions, including the photographs. When they put it all together a year later, it filled 22 volumes. All of the information that they gathered in that expedition. Next we'll look at Shackleton's journey, and this is just a quick map to remind us of what they went through. They were down, they were trapped in the ice, and then they drifted in the ice, made their way to Elephant Island, and then of course on to South Georgia, as we've heard. But what their initial goal was to cross Antarctica. So shortly after getting back from Mawson's expedition, Frank Hurley was hired to join the Shackleton team. He started off strong with putting himself up high to make some nice images. He's very, very adventurous. He wasn't afraid of risks, and he loved the vantage point he could get from up high. But again, he's lugging those big cameras up there. But he was making such cool images of the pack ice. Finding that different angle of something somebody is on. Because there had already been a few images from down here. Nobody had gotten an image like this of the pack ice. He was still documenting their daily life, crowded all the team into this photo. He wanted to pull on heartstrings of donors, so of course puppies are a great way to do that. Here's an image of him filming from the bow. He also faced a few challenges. This is a quote from Frank Hurley himself. Darkroom work rendered extremely difficult by the low temperature, being minus 13 degrees Celsius outside. The temperature in the darkroom near the engine room is just above freezing. So he moved his space in the ship so he would have a more constant temperature. Washing plates is troublesome as the tank must be kept warm or the plates become enclosed in an ice block. Development is a source of annoyance to the fingers which split and crack around the nails in a painful manner. So he suffered physically trying to develop his images. But he did make some haunting images. So this image was taken on August 27th, 1915. He wanted to capture an image of the ship beset in the ice. It required 20 flashes. So he had 20 flashes tucked behind little snow mounds all around the ship to light it up. He was half blinded after the successful image was taken, so pretty funny. But because he was half blinded, when he was trying to collect all of these flashes from the ice, he was tripping around. He lost his bearings, bumping his shins and probably cursing a little bit after the image. But he was very satisfied with the results afterwards. Here's an image of the men keeping warm by the fire. And more haunting images of that ship in the ice. You can see how rough the ice is around the ship. It's not an easy ground to traverse. And now this is the final sinking of the ship. I would like you all to imagine yourselves in his place, knowing that your refuge was going down, but still being so dedicated to your role as a photographer as to stop and take an image of it going down. Now, just prior to this, it didn't just sink immediately. It took some time. So when they realized it was going to sink, Hurley dove into the icy water to rescue his glass plates. So he pulled many of them out. Hundreds of glass plates were rescued from the ice, from the water inside the ship, and brought out. And we'll talk more about what happened to those later. After this, the other thing that went down with the ship was a lot of his photographic equipment. He went for the plates, he didn't go for the cameras. The one camera he had rescued that he kept from this was that vest pocket wrap, the smallest one, and three rolls of film. That's it for the rest of the trip. So after the sinking, there were only 38 more images taken, because that's all we had. So there they are with one of the rescue boats at one of the camps after the sinking. And then sending off the James Caird from Elephant Island. Now, this next image I'm going to show you, Hurley actually captioned it The Rescue, stating that it was the lifeboat from the Yelcho. However, Frank Worsley, the departure of the James Caird. So what's up with that? Frank Frank Hurley was our first user of Photoshop, manual Photoshop. He actually had to remove the mast. So that's the James Caird leaving. But when we look here, it's got a mast. When we look here, there's no mast. So he took off the mast. And the actual negative now, it has a hole in it where he removed the mast. So he took the mast out and then manually filled in to make it look like water. Later on, it was corrected, but it was kind of funny that he wanted to sell that as the rescue, when really, he actually had an image of the rescue. This is the actual lifeboat coming in from the left, from the engine. So that's about it for me. I do want to just want to review a few things, but I love this quote by Frank Hurley. Photography this is what he said about his manipulation of photos. Photography is not an exact representation of nature, and a picture is not a record of things in view. Regard your camera as an artist does his brush. Think that you hold a piece of an apparatus worthy of the same possibilities of the artist. Your camera is but a piece of mechanical apparatus. You are its intellect. So he was really looking at photography as a form of art, so didn't feel bad about manipulating the image. So just to wrap up, the role of photography, it served a lot of purposes. It was documenting all these new things in this new place. It was documenting the hardships of the men and the triumphs that they had. They were visual aids to use in lectures for the scientists when they got back to their home. And it also provided the imagery for really strong funding campaigns. And they were there to inspire future exploration. So how does that come into today? We are that future exploration. The photos have this enduring impact. They bridge science and art. They educated people about the beauty of Antarctica and the danger that was there. They were inspiring future exploration. They captured the resilience of the human spirit, and they created people in the world who were Antarctic ambassadors. Now this little logo here is from a modern day program that IATO has. They're the ones, they're encouraging people who have visited Antarctica to become Antarctic ambassadors. So you can actually go to the website at the bottom, iato.org/Antarctic ambassadors, and become Antarctic ambassadors. With all of those images that I've seen you taking, you can go back home, show other people how important it is to protect this beautiful, pristine place, and encourage people to think responsibly when they're making choices for different things. We want to preserve this very unique environment, and our images that we've shot here can help us tell that story to people back home. So I encourage you to do that. And last, this is a place where you can find some of these images. These are the holders of the images, the negatives. So if you are interested, you can look these up online. A lot of them have online archives of these images. And then I'm going to end my very, very last thing is a quote by Jack Cotto, who is speaking in tribute of Frank Hurley in a magazine. He was writing a tribute to Frank Hurley. He said, "We were both fired with the spirit of adventure. We were both happy in the knowledge that the camera was the key that would open that magic door." So I hope you've enjoyed going through the magic door here. Thank you. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer, but it is getting close to lunch too, so if you want to come to me, you're welcome to, or I can ask you questions.
Thank you for this presentation. My question is, why did you choose these photographers instead of others?
I chose these because I liked these stories the best. Out of all of the expeditions, these were the ones that I enjoyed, and I was interested in looking at those photographers. I enjoyed the stories of these photographers as well, and how they got to where they were. So really, I loved what they did. I loved how the role of photography changed through that time in history, and I felt like these photographers really expressed that well. So comparing the artists and the photographers from this time, they did serve a very similar purpose.
我们正在穿越德雷克海峡。
Documenting what they were seeing in their own way, and documenting scientific things. They were drawing maps. They were doing a lot of different things that you couldn't do.
没有地震，没有地震。我们正在穿越德雷克海峡，外面是海浪的汹涌，我们的船正在剧烈的摇晃。哎，不行，手机这样看不出来对面，还是得看这个。
How would you say that? Their artistic license may have exaggerated things.
今天白天的浪已经比昨天晚上要平稳很多，昨天晚上浪比较大，我们的床都在摇，柜门也在摇。现在的浪已经比昨天平缓了一些。
Well, thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and enjoy your lunch.
看那个窗户才看得出来。
这是我们5楼的海丰酒廊。平时如果开讲座的话，这里是高朋满座，坐得满满当当。今天能在这里的基本是不太晕船的，其他都躺下了。
看对面的窗户才
看不出来，你看这边曝光，太亮了，
太亮了，是吧？
对，只能看看我们这边啦。这点浪对德雷克海峡来说是小 case 了。
今天的浪没有多。
对对，我们还算幸运的，德雷克没有很大的浪。
昨天浪很大，
对，
避过了。 我们还没出发。
对，昨天的浪据说很高，但是昨天我们还在南极，所以很幸运我们避过了很大的风浪。今天算是平稳的德雷克海峡，相对平稳。
非常好，
咋了？
摇得好厉害，就想在床上就高兴再出来摇，在床上一摇的时候就非常动。
Yeah, and just to be aware of it. And like I said, when you see like those big like overhanging glacier, and we have a lot of like usually what I tell myself is because when you have an overhanging glacier, it's like this, you have the bottom and the top. If you're too close, you would lose the sight because you're too much at an angle. So usually I tell myself, I see the top of the glacier, I'm at a good distance. So even if it breaks up, if you don't see the top of the glacier, it means that what's going to fall from the top can reach you. It's a bit like when you drag Zotax and you say you have to see the bridge for the bridge to see you. It's the same.
风浪越大，我们旁边的海鸟就越兴奋，一直在围绕着我们的船，然后贴着海面飞行。
哇，这个好锻炼核心啊！
对呀，我们走路的时候都要收紧核心走路，不然就要摔。不过这也是人生的一种体验。
这个浪还是有那么高。哎呦，那些海燕在那个海上抓鱼。
对，
抓鱼。
对，它一直就围绕着我们船。
I was gonna say something more going on. Yeah, I've never ooh, you got like sex pregnancy. Yeah, but really bright. I've never seen like that.
我回去上个厕所。
啊，哇哦，是一个大的，我看着。
And then I bought the DVD of it, and you get, TV and but it's just, I really wanted to try and show it on the ship. One day I bought it, I got a few pairs of glasses, but it just wouldn't go. It wouldn't go for the system, so I thought it might. But so I just bought a few to try it, and then the following year.
哎呀，我们的5楼酒廊通常中午的时候也会有一个快捷面档或者是饭档，我们看看今天吃什么。哎呀，看到我这晃的了，哎呦。哦，老干妈，炒粉，炒粉丝，
对，
哦，是粉丝。能在这里吃到中餐还是很幸福的。
对他们这次餐真的非常不错。
我觉得是南极吃的最好的一条船。
它适合我们的胃。
对，尤其20多天一直吃白人饭，可能真的不太行。 我们再换一边，看一下另一边的德雷克海峡。德雷克海峡它是位于南美洲最南端的合恩角和南极半岛之间，它是通往南极的必经之路。我们虽然走的是通常大家是从乌斯怀亚穿越德雷克海峡，然后到达南极，就是大概是普通的行程，10天左右的这样的行程是这样走。而我们的行程是走了一个大环线，从马德林港出发，然后到南乔治亚，再到南极半岛回程，经过德雷克海峡。但是无论如何，这条海峡始终是就是从南极到南美的一条必经之路。除非是从南极半岛飞到智利，它也是有飞机可以直飞的。它的这个德雷克海峡的名气，对它不仅仅是因为它的地理位置，是它有名是因为它是世界上风最大、浪最高、最不可预测的海域之一。它的风力极强，气温会突然的变化，就穿越德雷克海峡会像坐过山车一样刺激。但正是因为这片海域的狂野和力量，它也成了无数极地探险者心中的通关试炼。能顺利穿过德雷克海峡，就意味着真正踏上南极的征途。我们今天还算很幸运，德雷克海峡的浪还不算大。我们即将有2天的行程穿越德雷克海峡，也就是说，在明天晚上或者是后天早上会回到乌斯怀亚。航程的时间会取决于我们这个海域风浪的大小，所以这2天我们会一直在德雷克海峡。
结束了以后不就差不多结束了，我们就还有人还在那场里。
不是，我说就表演好像没挺久的。昨天好像正常我们之前是1个小时1万人表演，昨天好像1个小时还没有结束，到9点，我11点走的还没有结束。
看看这个风浪。
它应该加点水吧？我一直怀疑它速度能不能熟啊？对呀，我就觉得它啊。
用徐林站长的话说，现在的风浪对于德雷克海峡来说就像是黄浦江啦，那是因为他见过更高更大的浪。哦，有人跟我打了个招呼 ，Hello， 大家好呀！欢迎大家跟我们一起欣赏德雷克海峡的穿越之旅。现在是阿根廷时间的12点11分，一会儿我们就要下播，我要去干饭啦。
好吃吗？可以。
我们要吃饱了才能应对，才有体力应对这场 颠簸的航程。大家拜拜喽，拜拜。